but melting fast. The two cousins, aged 10 and 12, had set off to the lake saying they were going skating. But the thaw was already setting in when they disappeared yesterday afternoon. A Coast Guard helicopter with heat-seeking equipment flew overhead, but as time went on, hope was diminishing that the two girls would be found alive. The helicopter had spotted 2 holes in the ice. The girls' bodies were found nearby, lying close to each other in 10 feet of water.
The frost we had over the last few days was quite severe, and I suppose there is an attraction there to experiment with ice. This morning the thaw set in and the ice is breaking up. It will be extremely dangerous, and possibly yesterday it would have been quite dangerous because the thaw set in early yesterday morning.
Elsewhere, off the southwest coast of Ireland, a rescue at sea. A fishing boat, the Pembroke, lost its rudder and started taking in water in rough weather. Her crew of 13 were airlifted to safety by the Navy. In the southwest of England, a day of flooding, the result of melting snow and heavy rain. The River Axe in Devon burst its banks, washing away part of a bridge. A helicopter was needed to rescue a fireman from a tree after he was nearly swept away. And tonight at Ripley in Hampshire, the sandbags are out again. Another surge of floodwater for a village that's been repeatedly flooded for much of the last 6 weeks. Valerie Jones, BBC News.
Princess Margaret is still thought to be awaiting the results of medical tests after spending much of the holiday period in bed at the Queen's estate at Sandringham. Buckingham Palace has stressed there is no cause for alarm.
Princess Margaret's been unwell for some time, and as was the case in March last year, she's sometimes forced to use a wheelchair. The hope is these medical tests will pinpoint the precise nature of her latest illness. It's thought to be a physical problem she's suffering from, rather than anything to do with the bouts of depression she has recently experienced. 3 years ago on the Caribbean island of Mustique, she had a mild stroke, and then in 1999 she suffered another setback when she badly burnt her feet in a bath of scalding water. Throughout the holiday period, the princess missed the church services attended by other members of the royal family. At the time it was said she was tired. She's been seen by a doctor twice and remains in bed. Princess Margaret is being looked after at Sandringham, the Queen's Norfolk estate. Buckingham Palace say at the moment there's no suggestion she'll have to go to hospital, and her illness is being viewed as a cause for concern rather than alarm. It's not known if the medical test results will be made public. Peter Hunt, BBC News.
Cabinet records from 1970 are published today and reveal new details about the former England football captain Bobby Moore's arrest for allegedly stealing a bracelet in Colombia. It was just before the World Cup, and the papers show how the then Labour government exerted pressure on the Colombians to get him released. Moore was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing. Our political correspondent Nicholas Jones reports.
Bobby Moore, England captain for the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, became the focus for intense diplomatic activity after being arrested for allegedly stealing an emerald bracelet. He was being held in Colombia and was freed only days before the World Cup.
I'm now delighted that the thing has been cleared and I can be joining the rest of the lads in the preparation for the matches.
The hijacking of 3 planes by the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, who took them to the remote Dawson's Field airstrip in Jordan, opened up a new chapter in international terrorism. 65 Britons were among the hostages, but a 4th hijack went wrong, and one of the terrorists, Laila Khaled, was held in London. The records reveal the secret negotiations behind the deal for her release. The 1970 general election was an upset for Labour, who were defeated unexpectedly by Edward Heath.
The Queen has asked me to form the next government.
But within days, the docks were at a standstill, and the records show how the cabinet dithered over sending in the troops, fearing widespread disruption which had been indicated in secret reports from the security services. They'd infiltrated shop stewards' meetings. Edward Heath, later defeated after a miners' strike, was dogged by industrial disputes. Nicholas Jones, BBC News.
Football, and the Sunderland striker Kevin Phillips strengthened his claim to an England place with an impressive performance for his side against Ipswich in the Premiership. Phillips scored his 12th goal of the season and set up another in Sunderland's 4-1 victory, which lifted them to 3rd place in the table. The games between Charlton and Arsenal, Liverpool and Southampton, and Manchester United and West Ham are featured on Match of the Day immediately after this programme, so if you don't want to know those scores, look away now. In the nationwide First Division, Bolton closed the gap on leaders Fulham to 7 points after beating Preston 2-0. Their best goal was the first, scored by Gareth Farrelly. Fulham lost 2-0 at Stockport. Hundreds of thousands of revellers braved severe weather to welcome in the new year. In Edinburgh, the traditional Hogmanay street party was marked with a spectacular firework display.